Hello everyone! Magandang gabi! Welcome back to another episode of Carrying Cup Conversations. Time flies as in EP4 na tayo ngayon, and my name is Ayen de Torre. I will be your host for tonight. So I'd like to give a quick shout out to everyone who's already listening to us. Hello Timothy! Magandang gabi Aubrey! Hi Champ! It seems like you guys are so excited for this conversation and we're happy to have you here. So feel free to also type on the comment section kung nasaan kayo. So I'm currently in QC. So kung saan man kayong part ng Philippines or maybe even outside of the Philippines, please type it in so we know where you're listening. And just a quick recap, ang dami na natin pinag-usapan, ang dami ng kwentong nangyari. Our first episode was all about mental health at dito natutunan natin that if we want to take care of other people, we need to take care of ourselves first. Second, we learned about the art of journaling using the 2021 Giving Journal. At dito natutunan din natin how we can use journaling to cope with stress and also fuel our creativity. And last but not the least, EP3 naman was about the practical ways that we can live sustainably and reconnect with our natural world kahit na nasa quarantine tayo. And the fourth episode is very important. It's such a timely topic to discuss because it's about our fundamental rights as Filipinos. At itong right na to or karapatan ay ang ating right to vote. And it's something that we can exercise in the upcoming 2022 elections. Now, this conversation is part of CBTL's Brew a Better Nation initiative. Gusto ni CBTL na encourage yung buong community to really try to push, convince, and inspire everyone to exercise our right to vote because a better future starts with us. Thank you for everyone who's sharing their comments. And yes, tama ka, Aubrey. It is a fundamental right. And joining our conversation tonight are youth leaders and advocates who will share their insights, their learnings mula sa mga past elections, past initiatives, and also try to explain to us why it matters in the first place. And they're also here to guide us how to register for the upcoming 2022 elections. So if you're a first-time voter or no ballot since birth, feel free to type that also on the comment section. This episode is really for you, to guide you in the process, to make it smoother. And if you are a registered voter, we also have treats and good news that are in store for you. So what we have is, if you are a registered voter, the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf is giving you a free upsize drink on any drink that you want when you show your voter registration stub or your receipt at any of their stores. And the best part of this promo is you can avail as many times as you want, as in unleash siya. And to learn more about it, just follow or like the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf on Facebook and Instagram. Aside from that free upsize drink, marami din tayong mga gifts or giveaways for today's episode, just like the previous ones. We're giving away a CBTL tumbler and giving journals to 10 lucky winners. And to win, all you have to do is one, you can either join our game later in the show, and another thing you can do is comment your questions to any of our speakers all throughout the show. So we'll be announcing the winners at the end of the show. So please stick with us. Please share it with your friends. And let's get started. I really like your excitement ni Hygia, ni Aubrey, and Margot. And good evening also to Ian. So our first speaker is actually a development professional. She's from an international NGO whose Philippine office handles human rights projects, press freedom, and communications. She earned a degree in international relations with a major in diplomacy. Dan was also one of the core members of a Philippine Liberal Youth Org and qualified for the Strengthening Political Youth Organization Seminar in Germany in 2013. Her advocacies include human rights, civic empowerment, and equal opportunity. And tonight, she'll be discussing about the youth voters landscape today. So exciting. Hopefully, we gain a lot of insights. But for now, let's use our emojis to welcome Danika Sarion. Hi,
Hello.
Danika.
Hi,
Nakita
Ayen.
mo, ang dami ng puso sa comment section for you. So they're sending out hearts through the comment section.
Whew, kaka-pressure.
Kaka-pressure. Yeah, let's start with the pressure. My first question for you is, since ang dami mga advocacies, human rights, civic empowerment, equal opportunity, were you always this way? Or was there a particular person, org, or movement that sort of inspired you to pay more attention to social causes?
Wow, una pa lang, nakakapag-introspect ka na. For that, I was born and raised in a remote town in Albay. And nakikinig lang talaga kami sa news kasi yung weather, tamaan kami ng weather eh. So, when it comes to social issues and political matters, hindi talaga ako inclined kasi well, aminin naman natin pag hindi ka tinamaan sa iba sa issues or sa mga bagay-bagay, parang hindi ka mulat. So, I think nagsimula akong maging mulat nung university days ko. I went to Manila, tas sa university, I joined an organization. And yung organization na kasi na yon, tuturuan ka nila paano mag-isip. So, they will teach you to doubt everything. And kung may decision ka man or kung may stance ka man, kailangan alam mo kung paano panindigan yon. So, yun to nag-start.
Exciting. Sana mas madami pang mamulat at mag-ask ng questions after your talk. So we're really excited to hear your insights. Ready ka na ba?
Yes.
All right, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite and for an opportunity to share and exchange insights on Filipino voters. I think hindi ko alam kung paano ko pa ma-emphasize na 2022 is really crucial for the Philippines. We'll take a look at the voters landscape in the Philippines today, even if we're going to focus on the young voters. Before I begin, siguro two caveats. Number one, I'm not a sociologist. And if we want to do a really deep dive on this matter, we also need more experts or literature on this. But I did my research. I read literatures and articles on this. So hopefully, lahat tayo may matutunan after the presentation. Another is that it is difficult to get data in the Philippines. So yung mga magagamitin ko na data dito sa presentation, I'll be referring to data from surveys, previous surveys, and data from the previous elections. So last night, as I was going through the news, I read that we now have 60 million voters. But who are these voters? Next slide, please. There. For my talk, I will be using generations to cluster Filipino voters. So in the PH, we have the traditionalists, Gen Xers, Millennials, and Gen Z. For this data, I used the years na binigay ng Pew Research Center, which is a non-partisan polling organization in the US, just so alam natin yung context. So when we talk about a particular generation, sila yung people who were born from this year to this year. Next slide, please. So how are generations formed and why do we have to look at this? So generations are clustered based on their shared experiences on social, economic, technological, political circumstances. And feeling ko ang pinaka-operative dito, which will give the significance on why we're looking at this, ay the term na formative period in their lives. Kasi ito yung time na kung ano man ang nangyayari, environmental, social, technological, and political phenomena, these influence a person's perception, beliefs, attitude, etc. on a certain matter. Tas dun din siya sa time na yun na-develop. So there are a lot of studies on generational behavior via the political processes. But let's take a look at what notable events or changes were happening during those years kung saan pinanganak yung particular generation. So for traditionalists or the silent generations, these were the ones who experienced World War II. Tas kung sa Philippine context naman, yung Philippine Liberation. Sa boomers, FQS, First Quarter Storm, ito ay isa sa pangyayari sa history ng Pilipinas na nagpasyukyat talaga sa bansa noong mga panahong yon. These are 3 months of civil unrest yung first quarter ng 70s. And then, martial law. So Gen Xers, these are the ones na namulat no martial law and witnessed the restoration of democracy in the Philippines. So in terms of political transition, na witness nila yon, kinamulatan nila yon. Meron na ring element of technology dito kasi I think ito rin yung time na may rise sa computers and personal computing. For millennials, these generations experienced the boom of the internet and development in technology. And of course, globalization. Gen Z naman, digital natives, ang sabi sa kanila, because, well, namulat sila na may smartphones, AIs, gadgets, and of course, andyan yung social media and height ng internet. When I was doing my research, I found this bit really interesting na Gen Z is the generation which will always be characterized for their search for the truth, which is interesting kasi nga, siguro, this is me, my interpretation of that. Kasi namulat sila na there's a universe of information at their fingertips. And this information are easily accessible. So, ang daming kailangan salain na information. Kaya siguro, they are always in a constant search for the truth. So now we know who the voters are. Let's take a look at how big the chunk is of a particular generation sa mga registered voters. So this data is actually from an article in Esquire. Ito yung visuals nila nung distribution ng generations nung 2019 midterm elections. So in 2019, we can see that more than half of the voters are youth, 52%, combined ang millennials and Gen Z. Of the 61-ish million registered voters in 2019, almost 33 million youth yon. I don't know about you, but when we had talks after midterm elections, lagi kasi na-mention na youth vote could have changed the course of the Philippines in 2019. I wasn't able to get the data on what percentage of the youth vote is during the last midterm elections, but my encounters actually prompted me to ask, is there really a youth vote? So I think in numbers, yes. We now have 60 million voters. I'm not sure kung ano yung percentage ng youth, but if we're going to keep in mind na meron tayong 33 million youth voters ng 2019 and meron tayong expected na magiging eligible to vote na youth na 4 million come 2022, meron tayong 37 million votes. So let's go back to the 2019 elections and yung sinasabi ng mga tao na napaka-defining and life-changing ng vote ng youth. So in 2019, si J. Cornelio, din isang sociologist, hinimay niya ang isang data from a Pulse Asia survey noong 2019. And yung findings noon ay the youth did not vote differently or did not prefer differently. So kung ano yung results, yun din yung preference ng youth. So I was thinking about yung mga talks nga after ng midterms elections na during university mock elections daw, iba yung result ng mock elections sa universities. And to that, I say, universities kasi yon. Not every Filipino youth has the same privileges as youths in universities. And balikan natin yung sinasabi ngayon, maraming articles, op-eds na nagsasabi na it's up to us on kung paano magiging future ng country in 2022. But I think it's also unfair to give the burden of saving democracy to us youth without understanding what our circumstances are. So hopefully kasi yung talk ko is understanding youth landscape. Medyo party pooper siya, but these are the realities of the youths in the Philippines. And for us to not take this in consideration as we move forward with voters ed and kung ano man, I think mistake siya for us na hindi natin gamitin yung data na nakukuha natin available sa mga gagawin nating projects and movements moving forward. So I hope that these realizations, with all this information, we can do something better this time. If we're going to do the same things kasi the same way, then we'll get the same results. So we know this information, what do we want to do with it? To cluster all youth to one or two characterizations or wholesale description of per generation can be problematic because we will be stuck in an echo chamber. If we want to turn things around in 2022, we have to look at the circumstances of the youth and how do we do that? Number one, if we really want the youth to vote, first and foremost, we need to get them to register and vote. Again, based on my research, if you get first-time voters to actually vote during elections, chances are they will be repeat voters. Parang kailangan nila i-overcome yung mga hurdles and actually vote. But getting first-time voters to not just register but vote can also be tricky. So given this, what can we do to reach out to the youth? I think number one is to acknowledge where all youths are coming from. Understand but that we can't all have the same basis or standards in terms of how we choose our leaders. Few of the things I take in consideration when I vote are issues which I care about. My advocacies, who supports the advocacies that I am passionate about, but not all people would think of the same thing. I can decide based on issues because I got my basic needs covered. I am a millennial because I was born in 1991, but not all youths who are clustered as millennials identify with the wholesale description na millennials are tech savvy, can jump from one job to another, well-travel, kasi hindi lahat may kakayahan. What motivates us differ from what motivates others. If there are people out there who are listening, yun nga, I hope na this is something that we keep in mind as we go around the Philippines, encouraging the youth to vote and to subscribe to what we are advocating for. Importante na alam natin kung saan sila nanggagaling para alam natin kung paano sila isasama sa movements and sa advocacy natin. Another is to understand influences. Kanina sa presentation, nadaanan natin yung iba pang generations. Kaya ko rin sila sinama kasi if you really want to reach the youth, you have to take a look at the sphere of influences they surround themselves with. So who are their authority figures? Who do they look up to? Who shape their values and principles? Sino yung mga nakakausap nila pagdating sa mga importanteng usapin? Ang sagot dyan, napapabilang doon sa iba pang voter clusters. Konti man ang chunk ng baby boomers, silents, Gen Xers, they are still a force to be reckoned with kasi sila ang unang-una nag-shape and nag-i-influence ng mindset of the youth today. Lastly, if we want to have a youth vote or a youth bloc, we have to continuously engage with our fellow youth regardless of background. Hindi yung we matter lang kapag election. Kailangan na sustained ang engagement natin sa mga kabataan. Inintindi natin kung saan tayo nanggagaling para kasama tayo sa lahat ng proseso. Pero sana ma-sustain yon, hindi na dahil election lang. Kasama dapat sila or tayo every step of the way. Also, I think one of the most important is to engage, to empower. Hindi dahil bata mali, hindi dahil bata naive, or hindi dahil bata walang alam. We engage to empower in a sense na regardless of how different our opinions or perspectives are, we engage each other in a discourse. Kung may pagkakamali man, wag nating i-cancel. I-cancel natin yung mistake or yung misconception. But we empower each other to learn and make up for it. So, sana sa mga sinabi ko, beneficial sa atin. Kasi it's really important for each and every one of us to empower each other and others to vote wisely sa next elections. We have power in numbers and we should keep using that to lobby for our advocacies. But aside from our power in numbers, bakit nga ba kailangan bumoto ng mga kabataan? Why should the youth vote and who should you vote for? May nabasa ako na sinulat na article ni Jennifer Wright. This appeared in Harper's Bazaar. Shinare ko to, binalik-balikan ko to noong 2019. Yung title ng article, Why You Need to Vote Even If You Don't Want to. May tanong kasi siya doon. Sabi niya, tingin mo ba nakaganti ka na sa mga politiko kung hindi ka maboto? No. Sad lang sila for a few days kung hindi sila nanalo. Pero after doon, back to usual na sila. Pwede sila magsulat ng libro, umalis ng bansa, mag-chill. They are not the people who suffer if you do not vote. They're just fine. Alam mo kung sino yung magsasuffer pag di ka nag-participate, ikaw rin. So my reason for voting can be selfish, but that's my motivation. I want a leader who can create an environment for me to thrive, for me to turn my aspirations to reality or fruition. Gusto ko na may respect and may working institutions tayo, may respeto sa batas and karapatang pantao. But who should you vote for? I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I hope that you take time to introspect. Ano ba ang mga qualities na leader na gusto ko? Ano ba ang mga values and advocacies ko in life na non-negotiable? Sino ang may magagawa para matulungan tayo na ma-overcome ang mga balakid sa pag-achieve ng mga pangarap natin? Swiftie ako, and gusto ko yung sinabi ni Taylor Swift before na you vote for the leaders who represent your values. Pero aside from that, ano pa nga ba ang gusto ko sa isang leader? So gusto ko na may dignidad at kaayusan sa daily commute kasi commuter ako pag nasa Manila. Gusto ko ng safe environment, ang nakikita at kakalakhan ng mga pamangkin ko. Gusto ko ng leader na may maayos na plano. Mga ganitong considerations. So I hope na tanungin nyo rin sa sarili nyo kung ano yung mga kasagutan sa mga katanungang ito. And I hope that you vote. Your vote reflects your values and what you hold important for your future and sa mahalagang bagay na pinanghahawakan mo. You vote for yourself because you are young and you vote for your future. Actually, i-end ko na lang siguro sa isang anecdote. Kasi recently, nag-usap kami ng isang family member and we were talking about the 2022 elections. And at some point, sinabi niya na himala na lang ang mag-save sa atin sa 2022. Napatigil ako, paisip ako kasi number one, di ko gusto na yung idea na naghahanap tayo na magsasalba sa atin. Di naman superhero kasi ang mga leaders eh. Yung mga problema sa bansa, as much as possible sana participatory ang approach natin dito. Di naman lahat masusolusyonan sa isang snap lang. And number two na impression ko doon ay the youth is a force to be reckoned with. Maybe tayo nga ang himala na hinihintay natin. So, I hope meron kayong natutunan sa talk and thank you for this opportunity again.
Maraming salamat, Danika. Swiftie din ako, so talagang nakarelate ako dun sa voting to leaders who represent your values. Yes. And mukhang si Champ relate din. What I gathered from your conversation, from your discussion is really that, we have power in numbers and the power to change our society lies with us. I know it feels cliche, but if we don't do, then we fail by default, right? So it's really important that once we muster that individual courage, we also include other people in the conversations from different generations, from different walks of life. Kasi bansa natin to, society natin to, so we have to work together. All right. Yes. If you have any, If you have any questions for Danika, comment them below. Again, later on, we will be answering them in the Q&A. And the ones that we choose will also get to win prizes from CBTL. Apart from that, we would love to hear your insights. So since ang dami ng kinover ni Danika, we would also love to hear your own stories, your own insights. So feel free to type it also on the comment section. And our first poll for tonight is, ano nga ba yung mga dahilan kung bakit hindi ka nakaboto in the past? And again, wala namang judgment dito. Let's make this a safe space for people to share their insights. Kasi kasabi nga ni Danika, we're all coming from different situations, different contexts, different challenges. And the way forward is try to understand all those multitude and complex situations. So salamat, Danika. We'll see you again later for Q&A. Live with us tonight naman from Batangas is a TV and film actress. She's an ambassadress for Save the Children and a We the Youth Vote convener. For this show, she'll be discussing voters' education and registration for millennials naman. Let's all welcome pusuan natin emojis for Ria Atayde.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Ria. Kamusta ang buhay probinsya?
Ito, medyo unstable ang kuryente, but we are okay. We are fine.
We're glad to have you here. And actually, medyo lurker ako sa We the Youth Vote. I know we're like 300 members strong. So I'd like to start the conversation with just asking you, ang dami ng pakulo, ang dami ng initiatives of the group to try to encourage more people to vote and register. Which one has been your favorite so far, at least memorable for you?
I think the Love Kita Pinas concert has to be, to date, siguro my favorite because it was the first time that I did an actual hosting gig after a while, and it was the show itself was awesome. Like, I was so overwhelmed and very proud na parang, We the Youth Vote was
Nagawa
able
yun.
to partner up with such amazing organizations. Ang galing lang.
Nice. And shout out to all the organizers in the We the Youth Vote who's listening to us.
Mismo.
And now, we're excited to hear your story. So, kwento ka na.
Okay. So, why do I vote? So this is what I usually talk about when I start discussing voters' education and registration. Next. So Rodel once said that somewhere inside all of us is the power to change the world. And, the youth today, we all desire change. And I think we need to be reminded that, that change can start from within us. And I think that's why it's just such a powerful advocacy to encourage everybody to uphold their democracy. Yeah, okay, next. So my story is I started out really as a student leader, and I think it's that and my upbringing that really made me aware of everything that's been going on, and that really made me feel like it's important to get rid of political apathy and to really be aware and be engaged. Okay, next. And then, now I'm an actress. So, I won't get into the details of this, but this is really like what exactly voting is. It is a right, it is a civic duty, and it is part of upholding our democracy. And when people take part and people do their part, that means that that's really us protecting what is rightfully ours. And I think, more than anything, we should also remember that the power of our vote really keeps our leaders accountable. When we vote, we show them what matters and what opinions, or like what issues deserve to be given light on. Tama ba? Yeah, okay, next. So voters registration, this year we have until September 30 to register, but please don't wait until then to register because by then, ako masyado nang late. Diba? Mahirap na yun. And obviously, that is the single prerequisite to voting. Apart from being 18, you just have to be registered to be able to vote and to be able to make your voice heard. And I think that, in order for us to... The thing is kasi, okay, with voter registration, it should really go beyond that. That's why we have, next, voters education, which I think is like what I really admire, like what I really advocate for, because you can be registered, but even if you're registered, that doesn't mean you know exactly what you want to vote for. I think that a good effort on voters education would be something that's non-partisan, dispassionate, and objective in terms of explaining things related to voting, really just giving you basic information. And I think, there, apart from supposedly telling people who to vote for, it should be more of like what characteristics to vote for, or what the candidates can offer, what their platforms are, what their stands on issues are. Okay, next. And the thing is, since voters education isn't exactly the strongest suit in our country, we end up having a low voter turnout. Personally, I get it. Disillusionment is so normal, especially for the youth, diba? Parang we feel like, it's easy to lose faith then, because it seems like there's really no transparency and there's really no, like, discernment. I don't know if that's nice to say, but there. And a lot of people seem to be really indifferent when it comes to politics. But really, at this day and age and at this point in time, especially given the pandemic, it's really like, come on, guys, we gotta do something. And really, I think why we should vote is really because the more people participate, the more valid the elections is. Democracy isn't supposed to be the vote of the majority. It should be, because the government is really what we have when majority participate, or you know what I mean? Like, we do not have government by the majority. We have government by the majority who participate. So it's important that we participate. It makes it more legitimate. It makes it more real. And really, we should really realize the power that is in each of us. We have to be more aware. We have to be more engaged. We have to be more involved. And I think that the youth can really help strengthen voters' education and registration, especially this coming elections. Next. through taking a more active role. I mean, we do seem to be underrepresented in decision making as of now. What we don't realize is we're also at the age where we can actually take a more active role in the government. People my age can already run. And, we should also try to dismiss apathy and try not to be affected by what we see as the dismissal of our opinions, especially by those in the generations before us, or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard. Everybody has different opinions, everybody has different stands and issues. And I get that sometimes discussing politics can be kind of a weird thing for people, but the first step is really opening up conversation so people see that there is an issue. And that's where, being influential to your peers comes in, because I get that religion, family, education, and friends are really the things that affect the youth. And so if a friend discusses, or a cousin discusses, things like this, and then to one person you already make a difference. And at this day and age, in this day and age, we have digital activism. Like, I mean, I'm not saying be rah-rah. It's really just, everybody has their own forms of activism. Everybody does their own thing. Not everybody is made for going on the streets and being loud on social media. And I understand that. The simplest way we can even get moving towards this is really to make information available for everybody across all community conditions. I mean, obviously, each community has different assets, and they have different strengths and weaknesses. And some communities don't actually have access to information like we do. And that's a step. Maybe sharing information should be the first step. And then next. And if you are not registered and cannot register, maybe you're too young, maybe you're Gen Z, even younger than us, and then you can just share information, share social media posts, and share articles, as long as you know that they're from legitimate sources. Always check the source, make sure you have a credible source, because dami ng fake news, and we don't like to be spreaders of fake news. And yeah, like I've been saying, start conversation amongst your peers, your family. Being an influencer, I always say this, doesn't mean being able to influence thousands or millions. It means even influencing one person. That's already such a big deal. And outside of social media, you can also, apart from social media, there are other ways that we can educate others in terms of the upcoming elections. First is by regaining the trust of the people. Like I said earlier, there is disillusionment due to the lack of transparency and failures in our political system. And I guess that really goes to show that the people in charge really have to remain committed and continue their efforts to make sure that the credibility of elections will be there. And I feel like when the credibility of elections exists, that's already a basis to enhance the confidence of the youth in our democracy. I may be overflowing with words. But yeah, apart from that, since media is such a critical player in initiatives directed at enhancing youth participation, the best thing to do would be to do things like this, things we're doing right now, like talks, workshops, and making sure that, we avoid miscommunication and incorrect information, because the media is so powerful. And I don't even have to say that anymore. And yeah, we need to fight for inclusion. We have to recognize that some young people have totally lost interest in politics and its value for the future. And apart from that, we need to make sure that all sectors are included. We shouldn't lose sight of helping people with disabilities as well. I mean, there are many young people with disabilities too. And yeah, for instance, in other countries, they've already adapted using Braille for the blind when they vote, and to make sure that, registration and voting centers are accessible to them. So that's also a step. And yeah, other countries like Congo, Mozambique, Botswana, Namibia, I went into this black hole of voters education stuff in Africa and other third world countries. And these are what I got. They have a lot of youth organizations. They have the National Youth Council, which has consultation and engagement, which ensures the participation in all stages of the electoral cycle. The youth is encouraged to observe the elections and participate in political campaigns. And they have a lot of relevant media and theater productions relating to voting. And then the help desk in Botswana, it's like, since traditional forms of communication don't work, they also try to incorporate it in entertainment and education and in schools. That's really where we should start, like the grassroots. And in Namibia, they introduced electronic voting, which really, I mean, now we have online registration, but we still need physical presence there. There, they've already adapted. But I know that it's just like, it's the ideal thing, I'd say. And they also have activities that encourage participation, like road shows and trade fairs, or like they have like social media campaigns. And I think that's something we can do here as well, something we can adapt. So if you have an organization, you can actually work on things like this. And then next, personally, I think that, wow, naging analyst ba to? Char. But yeah, online registration, which is already happening now, electronic voting, which seems like a little bit of a stretch for now, but I feel like it would be really ideal, especially with the pandemic. But it's really not that scary to register now, even with the pandemic. It's relatively safe as long as you go before talaga September 31. I feel like if September 30, if it's then that you go, then maybe grabe yung lines. And yeah, in other countries they've had, same day voter registration. I don't know how that could work out here, but in an ideal Philippines, baka pwede, baka sana. And yeah, of course, at the end of the day, there really has to be more funding for the implementation of updated electoral procedures. That's really the thing there. And yeah, if you guys have any ideas, or if you want to participate in things like talks and roadshows and everything, you can. Next slide, please. Reach out to We the Youth Vote, of which I am a member or a convener. You can reach out to us through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We can partner together to make sure that more people get information related to voting. Yeah, there. And I'll end this by saying this quote from Rachel Jackson, that our youth are not failing the system. The system is failing our youth. Ironically, the very youth who are being treated the worst are the young people who are going to lead us out of this nightmare. So let's go. Let's lead our country out of this nightmare, guys. That's 6 years of our lives. Let's go. Let's vote. Thank you.
Thanks, Ria. Gusto ko yung umabot ka na sa Africa just to research
Like
voter
black hole ako,
initiatives.
girl.
Feel ko pwede mo sabihin na analyst ka kasi umabot ka
Girl,
na sa
hindi.
Namibia.
Nerd lang kasi, madam.
And I think what resonated with me is the idea that anyone can define their own form of activism. So kung para kay Ria, that's researching initiatives in Africa. For you, it's just talking to your barangay members. All of those are valid as long as we keep showing up. At talagang, let's use our voice, let's use our influence to even change one person. And I'd like to just recognize one of our viewers, si Isa. Parang may na-change na kagad kayo, Danika and Ria. So Isa said, I never believed in the power of one vote, as in my vote. That's why I never voted before. But now I see that I can make a difference. And now I will try to urge my friends who had the same mindset as I did. So, parang feel ko, okay na yung time natin. Because we were able to change Isa's mind. Bye! Okay. And for the rest, we would also love to know your insights, sabi nga ni Ria. Like, this is a community movement. So on our next poll is, what change do you want to see in our country? So kung meron kayong brainstorm, time machine, or anything is possible, feel free to share that with us so that we can maybe make it happen. And again, for any of the ones that are listening in and were inspired by Ria's talks and Danika as well, feel free to type your best questions via the comment section below to get a chance to win a tumbler and also get a chance to gain more insights and lessons. So, maraming salamat, Ria. Stay with us now because we'll be taking a quick break and we'll be playing a game. So welcome back, Danika. Alright, so tonight's game, imagine we are in a sleepover, and we will be playing online charades. So we'll each be acting out words related to voting and elections, and all our viewers have to do is guess the word or phrase by commenting their answers. Yung 5 tao who will get the correct answers as fast as they could will win a giving journal from the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. Medyo nagtatawanan because, this is the first time I've ever done online charades. But let's do it. Okay, so ako muna para to demo. So hindi na to trial run, let's just go. Okay.
One word. English. Okay.
Ay, sorry, di kita yung
syllables?
Yes. Ay, sorry, bawal pa lang salita.
Ayen.
Okay. Gets.
Alam ko. Di ba sinasabi yan sa gabi ng mga manong magbebenta?
May clue na kayo from Ria.
True.
Ayun. Okay, we got it. Alright, next word. I think
That's me.
That's you. Okay, since actress si Ria, kaya-kaya niya.
Wow.
Go, Ria.
Wow naman.
Pressure.
Gusto ko yung iiyak ako. Okay.
2 words.
2 words. Second word. 1 syllable. Kuko, charot.
Ito ang mga pictures after.
Ayan,
Resibo.
Insta. If walang Insta, it didn't happen.
True.
And there you go. We got it. Congrats, Dan. And congrats also to Ria. Hindi pa siya umiyak nun sa level na yun. Now it's Danika's... Ay, ako pala yung turn ko pala. Ay, hindi. Danika's turn nga. Danika, go.
Oh my God.
1 word. English. May parang
Saludo.
Saludo.
Pwede rin.
Swearing. Yung nanunumpa.
Panatang makabayan. Siyempre, hindi kayo pwede sabihin. So, go, guys.
True.
Kaya nyo yan.
Ayun.
Meron na.
Grabe to si Dana.
Dan, give chance naman to others.
Oo nga, meron ka ng
Sarap,
giving
girl.
journal. Thanks, Danica. Okay, my turn again. Next word. This one is easy.
Oh, 1 word.
1 word.
Okay, English.
Yes. Lupang...
Okay.
I wonder. Uy, Dan, joke lang Hindi ka
Na-stress na si Dan. Pwede naman niya ipamigay. Pwede mo naman ipamigay.
Okay.
Hawaii?
Ayun.
Yan. Meron na.
Ayun.
Yes.
Congrats. Okay, last one.
Diyos ko, Lord. Paano kaya ito? Dapat
Danica,
nag-workshop
you
ako
can do
kiniyak
this.
ko
Acting Workshop 101.
Okay.
1 word.
1 word.
English.
2
2
syllables?
syllables.
3 syllables? 2 syllables. Kasi 3 nakita ka. Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day!
Sige, ganito na na.
Looking ganon. Looking.
May tinatanaw si Danica.
Looking forward to the...
Ayun! Good job, Danica. Pwede na. Pwede ka pa daw mag-extra acting workshop with Ria. But congrats to us na itawid natin ang online charades. And maraming salamat din for everyone who participated in our quick game. So for all the winners, we will announce your names at the end of the show. So wag muna kayo mag-log out. I-share nyo pa to with your friends. And good job, everyone. We'll see Ria and Danica later for the Q&A. Bye for now. Alright, so ang saya, ang dami pa rin nag-guess sa comment section. But thank you for everyone for your enthusiasm, for your stories, for your questions. Just keep them coming. As in, tuloy-tuloy lang because we'll just keep having these conversations and really try to widen our perspectives. So our last speaker is a youth advocate, an alumnus of the International Academy for Leadership of Germany, And she's also the co-founder of Impact Leadership, an org that seeks to build the capacities of school and community youth leaders in the country. Her advocacies include open government, active citizenry, and youth empowerment. And for the show, she'll be sharing with us voter insights naman for the Gen Z, or sabi nga ni Danica, the ones who are trying to seek the truth. So let's all give a round of hearts and emojis to Jobelle Domingo. Hi,
Hello.
Jobelle. Ay, wag mo, hindi ka muna ako hello po. Narinig ko yun. I know I'm an aging millennial, pero you don't have to say po. So the last time I saw Jobelle, pinaalala lang niya sa akin was in a cafe, right? Where we were talking about political discourse. So just to start off our discussion, I'd like to ask, as a Gen Z member, I know we're all complex human beings. What can you give as an advice or words of encouragement that you can direct to fellow Gen Z youth kung if medyo nafe-feel nila like their voices are not being heard, hindi sila kasama sa conversation, ano yung encouragement na pwede mong ibigay or advice para they'll also show up and get their voice heard?
Yeah, umpisang tanong.
Siyempre, ganun talaga. Simula pa lang, banat na.
Yeah, siguro, I think this also goes doon sa kahit hindi ka Gen Z, no? Sometimes, kailangan kasi minsan kasi iniisip natin na when speaking out, you have to go out to the streets, you have to do big things. But in reality, what really matters, especially in nation building or in democracy itself, what really matters is you start the conversation. Like, for example, something like this. Yung simpleng pagnonood natin dito, pagko-comment, that's a start. Diba? Yung simpleng pakikipag-usap doon sa friends natin, sa circle natin, even sa family natin, that's a start. I mean, that's you being part of the conversation. And then, later on, diba, once you're more comfortable, you step it up a little bit, a notch higher, and then you participate in different organizations. You may even create your own organization, and then move forward from there. I think that's, I
couldn't agree more. Yeah, and mukhang this advice applies across all generations. And maraming salamat to all our watchers. By just being here, you're already sort of showing up and letting your voice heard. And maybe yung level up just for tonight is to share also this to your friends, to your network, so that they can tune in. So we'd really love to continue the conversation. So Jobelle, enlighten us now. What are some of your insights as Gen Z? And we're really excited to hear about them.
Thank you, Ayen. Good evening again, everyone. And of course, thank you very much sa pagstay. I'll try to keep up doon sa mga sinabi nila Ria and Danika. So yung topic nung conversation natin this evening is Gen Z's moment. So I think yung picture, hindi ko na kailangang ipakilala because I think Greta very much symbolizes yung moment ng Gen Z. The moment that the entire world watched and listened to a Gen Z. So I think very much Greta very much encapsulates that. Siguro some numbers muna before we deep dive into this conversation further. Numbers we need to know, essentially 3 numbers lang kailangan nating tignan. So una, 30, as in 30% of the entire population ng bansa natin ay part ng Gen Z. Ibig sabihin, yung 15 to 24 years old. So bakit siya importante? Bakit importante yung number 30 o yung 30% na ito? Not many people know na as early as 15 years old, you already get to vote. Maybe not for the president post, not for the vice president, senator, or congress people, but you already get to vote at the sangguniang barangay at sangguniang kabataan level. So yung sangguniang kabataan ito at 15 years old, meron ka nang pinipili para mag-represent sa'yo in local, in different levels of the government unit. So meron kang barangay level na SK, meron kang city level na SK, municipal level na SK, and provincial level na SK. And mind you, yung SK na ito, nag-handle din sila ng funds ng government. Ibig sabihin, funds ng taong bayan. Funds ninyo. Diba? Bumibili kayo ng kung ano-ano. Yung a part of that goes to the budget that Sangguniang Kabataan handles. So ibig sabihin, at 15 years old, ang laki-laki na nung impact mo doon sa governance ng bansa. Ang laki na nung pwede mong gawin. So that's why it's very crucial to understand sino ba yung Gen Z and ba't sila importante. And the first step is, of course, understanding or appreciating na 30%, as in 30% ng buong population ng bansa natin ay Gen Z. So at 18 years old, you get to already vote. Sino yung gusto mong president? Sino yung gusto mong vice president? Sino yung gusto mong senator, congressman, congresswoman, mayor, vice mayor, governor, etc. No? And then the second number na kailangan nating, I think, important ay 18.5. As in 18.5% doon sa total registered voters ng Pilipinas ay Gen Z. So yung sinasabi kanina ni Danika na pwede tayong magpanalo ng kung sino man. Of course, pwede tayong magpanalo ng kung sino man kasi 18%, 18.5% tayo ng entire voting population. So it's very crucial. No? Yung next number na I think mahalaga ay 86. As in 86% ng Gen Z, so yung 15 to 24 years old, 86% doon ay politically unengaged. So ibig sabihin, hindi bumoboto, hindi registered voter, hindi member ng any civic or political organization, hindi nagpa-participate in civic in different civic and political organizations. So I think itong number na to, yung 86%, I think it's very crucial, kasi you can look at it two ways, no? Una, you can look at it the way other people look at it na 86% politically unengaged, so bakit kailangan natin kausapin yung Gen Z? Bakit kailangan natin silang bigyan ng seat at the table? Wag tayong mag-aksaya ng oras dito sa Gen Z kasi 86% ay politically unengaged. So you can look at it that way, but I tell you it's the wrong. I think it's the wrong kind of it's a wrong kind of perception. No, kasi you can also look at it na 86% yung politically unengaged sa Gen Z. So that's a huge number. And that's a huge number that we need to talk to. We need to connect meaningfully. We need to engage in order to propel them to participate meaningfully in the different civic and democratic affairs ng bansa natin. So you can look at it in two ways, but I think yung mas healthy for each and every one of us is to look at it as a huge potential. As a huge potential of new people participating in building our nation, in building our democracy, and in building a better world. No? I think yung 86% na ito, I think ito yung pinanggagalingan ng madaming media practitioners, even people from the academe. No? Some scholars are framing the Generation Z, or and especially yung ibang mga people in politics. No? They've always framed the Gen Z, the Generation Z, as at best, ito yung at best, ito na yung best framing nila, as apathetic, disengaged, and removed from civic action. I think dahil nanggagaling sila doon sa 86%. But then again, tulad nung ididiin ko lang, gusto ko lang idiin ng idiin, 86% is not a lost cause. 86% is a huge potential in order to get more people to participate in nation building. So this has been at best the framing for Gen Z. At worst, Gen Z have been noted to be the generation who only care and think about themselves and nothing more. So maraming mga tao na magsasabi na 86%, so walang pakialam yan, ang pakialam lang nila yung sarili nila. But then again, kung titignan natin yung nakaraang mga buwan or even yung mga nakaraang mga taon, makikita natin, na actually the Generation Z actually cares, yung merong study na ginawa yung McCann Truth Central, so it's entitled The Truth About Youth. Meron silang pinag-aralan nila yung young people across the world, and meron silang 3 things na nakita. Number 1, young people or Gen Z, young people are actually have that innate desire to be part of something bigger than themselves. So innate yung desire na yon sa young people. So ibig sabihin, hindi na totoo yung Gen Z, ang pakialam lang nila yung sarili nila. Kasi, a study shows na meron kang innate desire to be part of something that is bigger than yourself. And then yung next na finding is, actually, yung Gen Z, they too yearn for a better future. And yung better future na yun, yung definition nun is not a better future for themselves, but actually a better future for other people, for all individuals, for all the sectors, may it be farmers, fisher folks, etc. No? They actually yearn for a better future that is also something bigger than themselves. Ibig sabihin, they care about the country. No? And the third finding is, sabi nila, they yearn for a better future and actually they want to get involved working for that future. So the only thing that we need to do, no, is actually to capture the imagination of young people. No, capture the imagination of young people so that we could propel those 86%. No, we could propel them, no, to actually want to figure out what kind of future do they want. No, kasi andoon na may innate desire na sila di ba, to be part of something bigger than themselves. Di ba? All we have to do is parang tapikin lang natin sila para ma-figure out nila ano ba yung something bigger na yon, no? Pero actually, the pandemic also, likewise, yung pandemic, it actually showed, no, na hindi lang minsan kailangan lang natin silang bigyan ng espasyo. No? For example, magkita natin yung sobrang daming voters registration initiatives, 'di ba? Since after 2019 elections, no? Sobrang daming voters registration initiatives na actually yung nagi-start ay young people, no? So ibig sabihin andoon yung desire nila na teka lang, kailangan nating mga alam. Hindi dahil sa nangyayari sa bansa natin, but rather because sa sarili nila mismo, meron silang innate desire, innate sa kanila. So hindi mo pwedeng tanggalin sa kanila na wala silang pakialam kasi meron silang pakialam and gusto nilang mangialam. So makikita mo yun sa sobrang daming voters registration initiatives. No, meron tayong yung We the Youth Vote, yung Ready to Vote, yung iba't ibang mga voters registration initiatives. No, maraming mga youth organizations na nakikipag-partner sa COMELEC so that the COMELEC would do satellite voting registration in different universities. No, so ang daming mga ganon. In fact, so sobrang daming initiatives ng young people on voters registration. Yung target ng COMELEC to register, yung number of people na gusto ma-register ng COMELEC, no, 2 million lang yung target. Pero sumobra yon, I think more than 100% yung isinobra. And ako, pakiramdam ko, pwede natin ibigay yon yung achievement na yon. Of course, the COMELEC is very supportive. Pero I think a huge chunk of the parang credit will have to go to the different youth organizations na may pakialam and gusto nilang and nagko-conduct ng iba't ibang initiatives like this. No? Again, makikita natin nung in the middle of the pandemic, nakita natin na young people care. So yun yung una, no, they care. And pangalawa, they want to care. So magkaiba yun magkaiba yung meron kang pakialam, magkaiba rin yun doon sa gusto mong mangialam. Gusto mong magkaroon ng pakialam. And the pandemic showed, di ba? The pandemic showed that the young people, Gen Z, care and they want to care. Makita mo, no, in the middle of the pandemic, young people went to the Supreme Court questioning several things. May kita mo na young people, even in the middle of the pandemic, di ba, created different donation drives doon. Remember last year, di ba, nagkaroon tayo ng 3 consecutive typhoons. Sino yung nag-step up? Young people stepped up. Di ba? Ang daming massive donation drives ng different youth organizations nagsipagsulputan only to help those people na naging victims ng typhoon. Diba? Meron pang isang very notable na story. There was this, I just forgot the name, but there was this youth organization na nag-set up sila ng donation drive in order to help a very remote area in Batangas. Kasi doon sa Batangas, nung tinamaan sila nung typhoon, nasira yung barangay health center nila, nasira yung barangay hall nila, nasira yung roads nila, yung poste nila, etc. And then, this one youth organization nakipag-coordinate sila, nakipag-connect sila to several youth organizations in order to raise funds para maipagawa yung poste, maipagawa yung barangay health center, maipagawa yung mga bangka ng mga fishermen. So imagine those kinds of things, no, shows na people care young people care and they want to care. Yung community pantries, saan yun nag-start? Sa isang bata. Di ba? So I think at the end of the day, so I just want to end with this, ano. So I think at the end of the day, we should stop telling the young people na wala kayong alam. We should stop telling the young people na hindi nyo alam kung ano yung kalakaran ng mundo. No? We should stop telling people na bata ka lang, marami ka pang kakaining bigas. Yun yung favorite ko, naririnig eh. Palagi ko yung naririnig eh. Marami ka pang kakaining bigas. No? Bata ka lang, you can only do up to an extent. No? Pero you really cannot change the world massively. No? Merong mga nagsasabi na yung ang tanging alam nyo lang gawin is mag-TikTok, mag-Facebook, etc. No? I think we have to stop doing that. We have to stop canceling these young people, this amazing, wonderful young people, and start looking at how they view the world. No? Kasi how they view the world is full of fresh ideas, is full of new perspective, full of innovative ideas, full of wonderful and amazing initiatives. So stop canceling young people, especially the millennials and the Generation Z, and start looking at how they view the world. Because again, quite frankly, how they view the world is very beautiful. So I'd like to end with that, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Jobelle. Marami ka nang nakain na bigas. Sapat na yon. And I love that. It's like a battle cry, right? And I think a lot of our audience also resonated na may paki tayo. We want to be something bigger than ourselves. So we should allow ourselves to do that and try to overcome doubt, whether that doubt comes from ourselves because of we think our inherent limitations, or doubt coming from other people and naysayers. Maraming salamat, and again, we would love to hear your insights para hindi lang to one way. It's really a conversation. So another poll, our last poll for the day is, as part of the youth, do you believe you have a voice in the elections? So pwedeng yung sagot dito is yes or no lang, walang explanation. Pero kung gusto nyong medyo pahabain yung konteksto, feel free to do so. And again, if you have any questions for Jobelle, for Ria, for Danika, comment them below for a chance to win one of the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaves tumblers. And Jobelle, dito ka na. Stay here. And let's keep this conversation going with our Q&A. And now it's time to open the discussion with our audience. Alright, bumalik na. Sabi ko parang babalik na natin si Danika and Ria. Pero nandito na sila, ready na. Alright, ready na ba kayo to answer some of our questions from our audience?
Yes.
Okay. So our first question, ang dami sa comment section. So let's make sure our production team okay lang kayo. But thank you everyone for sending in your questions, and we'll hope to be able to answer as many as we can. And Ria, this is the line of 2021 and 2020. Kindly unmute yourself para makapagsalita.
I can't because you're gonna hear everybody around me. I'll only unmute when I'm gonna answer.
Sige. Noted. Okay, so our first question is from Don Miguel Dizon Gonzalez. How will you convince others to vote with a conscience? Thank you. Thank you, Don, for that answer. That very morally, I question morally fused questions. Jobelle, simulan mo.
Yeah, ganda ng tanong mo, Don Miguel. At the same time, sobrang mahirap. I think, sa akin, personally, ang hirap niya kasing sagutin kasi not all people have the same values as me, or not all the people have the same values as you, Miguel, no? So yung conscience mo will always come from what you value the most, and sometimes what you value the most may not be what other people values, no? So I think number one, encourage people to vote, to vote and represent what they value the most. And number two is accept siguro no na yung values natin may not be the same with the values of other people, and that's okay, and that's the beauty of democracy, that's the beauty of our country. No, we get to be in disagreement, but we don't stop the conversation. We still continue the conversation because it's fun to have a conversation, especially a meaningful one with friends, families, and other people.
Salamat, Jobelle. Very Miss Universe, ha? No, we all have different values, so it's really more of an introspection na, does this align with yours? And eventually try to share that with other people. Danika, do you have anything to add?
Wala, naalala ko lang kasi one of my mentors in university, tagal na, sinabi niya na, kasi I talked about generations, di ba? Sinabi niya na every generation has its own sense of morality, so values and whatever. Nag-iiba-iba rin yan per generation. So, to add to that, siguro, ako ang gagawin ko, kung may ganyan, makikipag-usap ako, pero ang approach is I'm going to ask more questions. Kasi, usually ang decision ng tao, it should come from within. So yun nga, ask more questions, engage, and validate mo kung, or acknowledge mo kung saan sila nanggagaling. Na okay, I understand where you're coming from. And then ask questions para mas ma-prod pa na mag-isip, mas ma-realize niya kung ano yung mga values talaga na gusto niyang i-reflect dun sa boto niya, dun sa mga tao na iboboto niya. Yun.
Thanks, Danica. So parang personal talaga, no? Voting is as personal as deciding what school to go to, what
Who you want
outfit
to
to
be.
wear, will you eat this and all that. And mukhang na-cover na ni Jobelle and Danica. Wala na kaming dadagdag ni Ria. So
Good.
let's move on to the next question. So this one is from Ian Chris Aquino. What a name. How can we explain the importance of voting, especially to millennials, aside from it being our right, which we keep saying all throughout this discussion? Ano pa ba yung mahalaga dito? And Ria, you can start us off.
Okay, I think apart from being a right, we have to highlight that it is a civic duty. It's our duty as Filipinos, and foremost, that is what we are. I'm an actress, but foremost, I'm a Filipino actress. You know what I mean? That's why it always comes first. And I think apart from that, it's important because that's the only way to uphold our democracy. Yun nga, we need to have a government voted for by majority, not does that make sense? Diba? Parang that's the only way we can really uphold our democracy if we vote. And yeah, why would you give up, the right to make a decision for yourself? Because when you vote, you make a choice for all of us for the next 6 years. And why would you pass up on making that decision for yourself? Diba? At least kaya mong sabihin na, okay, I took an active role, I did my part. And from there, you know that may nagawa ka. Yun yung ambag natin, bale. Parati tayong tinatanong, diba? Anong ambag mo?
Ano ambag mo?
Boto ko.
Pwede na yung pwede ng tagline for the next We the Youth Vote campaign. Salamat, Ria. So it's our civic duty, ambag natin to. And it affects so many aspects of our life. So we might as well register our voice.
Yes.
Danica, do you have anything to add?
Actually, na-realize ko to. Nag-take notes kasi ako habang nag-present si Ria at si Jobelle.
Wow.
Tapos na-realize ko kasi nabasa ko rin sa comments kanina. We want progress, but we don't want to do the hard work. And part of that hard work actually is, registering, turning up during elections. Tapos, influencing the people around us na mag-isip, hindi mag-isip, to vote and to vote wisely. So yun, we have to be part of, hard work is part of it. Nothing good comes easy.
Wow. Parang applicable yun to every part of our life, di ba? Nothing worthwhile in our life comes with just bigay lang sa atin, tas yun na yun. Walang hassle, walang paghihirap. So ito na yung paghihirap. Just register, just vote, try to get to know the candidates. And Jobelle, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Si Jobelle yata ang nasa probinsya, my friend.
Ganyan po talaga kapag virtual conversation.
O, diba?
Jobelle.
So, vote for good leaders that will help make sure na
Yung internet natin.
internet! Oh my God!
Para tuloy-tuloy tayo nagkakantuhan. So maybe actually we can move on to the next question, and I'll direct this first to Jobelle. This one is from Kenneth Torres. What advice would you give to a first-time voter such as myself? And yay, Kenneth! Congratulations.
May free upsize sa
So, the coffee bean and tea leaf. Ano pa yung ibang advice? Ay, ako lang ba yun? Yan.
Sorry,
Sometimes hindi
nawala
ko
ba
alam
ako?
kung ako yung nawawala. Or, yeah, you can repeat na.
Yes, about that. So number 1, punta tayo sa coffee bean kasi may free upsize. No, seriously, on a more serious note, again, babalik ako doon sa introspection, no? Bakit mo gustong bumoto to begin with? And then, number 1, and then number
Oh no. So number 1 is why you want to vote. Why do you want to vote to begin with? Ito talaga, internet connection, right? That's one motivation for us to vote. Danica, since wala pa si Jobelle, maybe you'd like to add.
Hello?
Hello? Ako lang ba
Ay,
din yun?
napaisip ako kung ano yung dapat na advice. Parang if I were kung babalikan ko yung sarili ko, first time kong bumoto, ano yung, kasi, well, kwento ko lang na hindi ako, when I turned 18, hindi agad ako bumoto. So, nagbumoto lang ako ng 20.
Confession.
Oo, confession yon. Kasi, alam ko yung mga sinasabi nilang indifference, pinagdaanan ko rin yan. And it was really a long process para kaya napilit ko yung sarili ko na mag-vote. Pero that time, kasi medyo mature na rin ako noon. Ang inisip ko na lang talaga, kasi grabe yung ingay sa social media. Ano ba ang gusto ko? Yun talaga yun eh. Parang, ano ba ang gusto kong leader? Kasi, tumatanda na ako, nag-iiba na rin ang priorities ko in life. So, yun, kailangan masagot yun. Parang, napaisip ako, ano ba yung leadership qualities na gusto ko? So, it's really introspection. Yung sinabi kanina ni Ria, ni Jobelle, na every vote is a reflection of yourself. Yun, your choices really reflects who you are as a person. So, kailangan isipin mo, ano ba mahalaga sa'yo, ano ang values mo, ano ang non-negotiables mo come 2022 elections. And i-reflect mo yan sa boto mo.
Thanks, Danica, for that vulnerable answer. And mukhang Taylor Swift talaga, no? Si Taylor talaga tumama siya dun sa the people we vote represent our values. So it's not always necessarily, based on a personality and based on a person's name, but actually based on their character traits and the things that they value. Ria, any other?
Siguro to add to that, I mean, same line of thinking. I think it's a matter of voting for people whose stands on issues are the same as yours. I mean, it does, like, your vote, the best vote is an informed vote. Look up what the candidates stand for, look up what they've done and what their principles are. But for me, kasi personally, principles should be held at a higher, standard than their track record. Because sometimes, even if they've done good, it doesn't necessarily translate to them being a judicious or discerning leader. So yun, I think the tip for a first-time voter is research. Really, take time out to look up what they believe in, what their plans are, what they can offer. Because, again, the best vote is an informed vote.
Thanks, Ria. Daming quotable taglines. Pakisulat na yan sa everyone who's campaigning. But again, maybe the first part is the introspection and the second is the research, right? To see where it aligns. All right. So hopefully makabalik din si Jobelle. And we'll move on to the next question. So this question is from Ryan Grepo. How do we encourage the unengaged to start joining the conversation? And Danica, you can start.
Mahirap yan. Pero naisip ko lang, baka gusto rin natin tanungin, bakit sila unengaged? Kasi, yun nga, sabi natin kanina na iba-iba tayo ng pinanggagalingan eh. And yun, na baka kasi kung paano natin tinatry kunin yung attention ng particular group na ito, hindi talaga nagre-resonate sa kanila. So, kailangan tingnan mo rin kung ano ba pinanggagalingan ng pagiging unengaged niya. And maybe we can start with that.
Thanks, Danica. And maybe they are engaged with something else. And it's
Yes.
just a matter of making that surface. And
Yes.
Jobelle, welcome back. Welcome back from Oblivion. And the question is, how do we encourage the unengaged to start joining the conversation when it comes to civic action and voting?
Yeah, this is something na very close to my heart. Kasi, how do I say this? Youth organizations and movements, madami silang roles sa democracy, and one of that is trying to lay the groundwork for democracy, trying to lay the groundwork for participation. No, so if maraming unengaged young people, it's actually at some level, it's actually the fault of youth movements and organizations, because maybe our activities are boring for them to be engaged, diba? So I think yun yung parang come up with different enjoying ways to converse with them. No, it could be in a bar, it could be in a coffee shop, it could be in a mall, it could be through dating apps, through social media. There are a lot of ways na, di ba, parang while learning, makakapag-enjoy ka, di ba? While being in a conversation, makakapag-enjoy ka, di ba? Pwedeng maglaro kayo ng cards and then talk about, national conversations. Could be through a board game. I don't know. Just make it fun and enjoyable. Otherwise, really, people will not, young people would not want to be involved. So it has to be something very fun. Kaya may mga concerts sila Ria di ba?
Salamat, Jobelle. Ang daming activities. Pwede pa pala yung dating, no? So, actually, you can use that through dating, di ba? Parang, what do you prefer? What are your values? And then, iseg mo na yung election. Ria, do you have any other thoughts on how to engage the unengaged?
I think foremost, don't be so in your face about it. Like, don't force people.
Yeah.
They will, I believe that everybody has their own pace and their own timeline and all of that. And I think the first step is really to bring it up naman talaga. And then from there, you kind of have to see how they feel about it. But don't force it. Because if you force it, yung parang, di ba, if you tell people to believe certain things, hindi nila mapaninindigan yun unless they believe in it themselves. So just don't be so forceful, and just wait for the people to really get there on their own as well.
Last point.
Go. Since kakabalik mo lang, feel free go, Jobelle.
No, very quick lang. No? Siguro, yung important thing doon is don't start by asking them, ba't ka unengaged? Di ba? Parang, you don't come up, may nakita kang crush sa MRT station, you don't come up there and say na, ang pangit naman ng shoes mo. Di ba? You come up there, you come talk to that person and find a certain commonality. Uy, pares tayo ng brand ng shirt. You find the commonality, and then from there, engage in a conversation, and then pwede mo na siyang tanungin, ba't nga unengaged ka? Weird, Pwede ka nang gumanon. Kasi, di ba, parang, kumbaga, nagkaroon ka na ng relationship, Parehas na kayong, sa ganitong, parehas na kayong mahilig sa jogging pants, Parang ganon, something like that. Find the commonality, and then from there, start a conversation, and then start asking the hard questions.
Salamat, Jobelle. And we're actually down to the last question. I feel a little sad kasi parang ang dami pang comments and sections. So hopefully later on we'll share naman ways for you to connect with all of our speakers so that we can continue this conversation and spread this even more. This last question is from Renfree Lopez. Some parents will put pressure on their Gen Z, I guess, kids on who to vote for. Meaning, ito yung vote ng nanay mo, tatay mo, sundin mo lang. How can we minimize that, if not eliminate this kind of behavior? And si Ria napapangiti. So Ria, feel free to start us off.
You know what? They don't know naman who you really vote for when you're there na in the voting poll. So sige, mag-yes ka lang to avoid issues. Yun lang. Avoid lang. I mean, I'm not teaching you to lie. I'm just saying, pag nandun ka na, ikaw na lang yun. That's you and the ballot. That's up to you. Diba? My goodness.
Good tip. Danica, do you have other tips?
Siguro, kasi di ko alam pero yung experience ko with people younger than I am, pag tinatry mong i-push ng i-push ang isang bagay, mas resistant sila. So, that's one. And siguro sa ganitong sitwasyon, oh my God, paano nga ba? Napaisip talaga ako. I think be open na lang din. Kasi we also have to give the younger ones a space to think for themselves. And eventually, kailangan talaga natin silang hayaan na mag-isip para sa sarili nila. Kasi, well, hindi naman sa lahat ng stage ng buhay nila may mga guide and whatever. So, it's also one way to teach the kids na think for yourself and we trust your decisions. Parang ganon. So, kung ako naman yung bata, kung ako naman yung Gen Z, stubborn kasi ako eh. So, I think, magpo-prod ako, knowing myself. Tatanungin ko, bakit?
Bakit?
Oo. As in, ganun kasi ako as a person. Magtatanong lang ako na magtatanong. And sasagot din. So, maybe ganun.
Thanks, Danica. I like na parang both perspective, right? The perspective from the parent and the perspective from the kid. In the end, your relationship will be much more harmonious if you let each one be able to register their own voice and opinion. Jobelle,
Yeah,
any advice?
well, ako same talaga nung kay Ria, no? Walang makakaalam sino iboboto nyo. Kasi at the end of the day,
Agree. Ang dami nag-agree sa topic.
Uy, same. Yung parang kahit babayaran ka, kunin mo yung pera, di naman yan alam mo.
merong sanctity kasi of the ballot. So, sino man yung pipiliin mo, that's your choice. That's who you are, no? Pero feeling ko, no, baka pwede tayong magkaroon din ng conversation with our parents, no? Tulad nung sinabi ni Danica, no? It's important to have a conversation and sometimes you have to stand up for yourself in a very respectful manner, di ba? And tell them na I respect who you're gonna be voting for, but this is who or what I'm voting for. And that's because blah, 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 blah. And yeah, you can come to me, sabay tayong pumila, pero at the end of the day,
At the end of the day,
At the end of the day.
cliffhanger.
It's the end of the day. At the end of the day is the end of the day.
Yes.
All right. So thank you everyone for sending in your questions. This has been such a helpful and worthwhile discussion. Later on, we'll hopefully get back to Jobelle so she can share more about her initiatives. But I'm really glad that we were able to tackle this such important question since alam naman natin the COMELEC registration is only open until
September
when?
30.
Hindi namin na-practice to.
2021.
Sorry, hindi namin na-practice. It's open until September 30, 2021. And if you haven't registered yet, you can do that online na pala through irehistro.comelec.gov.ph just to schedule your appointment at the nearest office of the election officer or OEO in your city or district every Monday to Friday. And to learn more, you can visit Comelec's Facebook page. All right, we're almost at the end of our show. Pa 9 p.m. na. I'm sure marami sa inyo baka ready na to go to sleep or not. But before that, it's time we announce the winners of our giveaway. So first, ayan, Jobelle, welcome back. Mamaya,
it's usually like this. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Go.
It's totally fine. And we will
Nahawa ka sa
fight.
internet ko, girl. Nahawa ka.
We will fight for a stronger internet connection in our country.
Yes.
But first, let's announce the 5 winners of the 2021 Giving Journal from the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, yung mga nanalo sa online charades natin. Let's all congratulate and give a round of warm applause to Catherine, Denise Query, Honey Sarion, Dan, si Dan talaga, si Dan yung Bandalan Dangoy, Maria Luisa Gomez, and Aubrey Alpis Alipasa. Congratulations! And again, you can message the page in order to claim your prize. Next, for those naman who were able to register their questions or insights, we would like to congratulate Don Miguel Dizon Gonzalez, Ian Chris Aquino, Kenneth Torres, Ryan Grepo, and Renfrey Lopez. You all have won the Coffee Bean, hindi na maalala kung ano, the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf Tumbler. So congratulations for thank you. I hope you guys are hydrated. And if you're one of the winners, kindly message us on the page in order to claim your prize. And that's it for tonight. Pero sana hindi lang dito magtatapos ang ating mga conversations, ng ating mga kwentuhan. Maybe, hopefully, we are able to convince you to head to your nearest COMELEC office and register to vote. And I would like to extend my own gratitude to Jobelle, Ria, and Danika for enlightening us with your insights, your stories, and hacks and tips to deal with our parents. And I'd like to open the floor now to say your goodbyes and where they can reach you, di ba? Paano pa na lang ituloy-tuloy yung conversations, and we can start off with Jobelle since we missed you.
Yeah, baka mawala ulit ako. So, lahat ng social media at Jobs Wait For It. So you can find me there. Please, you can continue the conversation. We can continue the conversation there.
Jobs Wait For It, and also Impact Leadership, right? If you'd like to learn more about her organization. Danika, where can they reach you?
Ang pwede ko lang i-disclose ay ang aking Instagram, which is...
May privacy eh.
Oo, tsaka yung iba medyo not for all viewers, char. Ano bang Instagram ko? Danika, DUUHNIKA. So, doon nagpo-post din ako ng resources na mga binabasa ko on some matters, and nakikipag-usap rin naman ako sa mga tao.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you, Danika.
Thank
and
you.
Ria, do they just slide into your DMs or what?
But first, thank you for having me. I had fun, and I hope that I made sense tonight. But yeah, you can reach out to me at Ria on Instagram. That's RIA. Ria Atayde on Twitter. But with the youth vote would be a better account to contact because they know more than I do. And there's nothing wrong in admitting that you don't know everything.
Thanks, Ria, for that quotable quote. Meron pa siyang nadagdag na last nugget of wisdom. And for everyone tuning in at umabot kayo hanggang 9 p.m., thank you so much. Remember, we have until the end of September to register to vote. But if you've already registered to vote, you can go to any of the CBTL branches and get an upsize on any drink when you show your voter registration stub or receipt at all the CBTL stores nationwide. And kindly like and follow the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf on Facebook and Instagram to learn more about their Brew a Better Nation initiative. And since last na to, ako naman na magsi-speech dahil hindi ako nakapag-speech kanina. And to me, really, voting allows us to shape politics. And politics dictates so many things, like how much money goes into our schools, our hospitals, how efficient our internet is, our permits, our aids, and it can protect or harm the communities that we belong to and the communities we intend to serve. So really, this is the time that regardless of who you are, what you earn, what you believe in, if you vote, that's when we're truly equal, and hopefully you also see the power of that vote. All right, so let's change the Philippines. This is Ayen de la Torre. Thank you so much for joining Caring Cup Conversations, and have a good night. Bye!